you from the 37th parallel on America's haunted highway. It's Pixelated Paranormal, your guide to the unusual and the strange.
Okay, is it go time? Okay. Normally you say it's you're on. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pixelated Paranormal. This is episode 349.5. Why is it point .5? Well, because there's a lot of news to share, and I think episode 350 is going to be pretty big on its own, so why not do a news episode all in itself? I, of course, am Sean, and happy National Paranormal Day, Preston and everybody else.
Shit, there's a holiday?
Holidays. Apparently there is.
Wow.
I can barely keep track of Easter myself. So yeah, happy National Paranormal Day. And also, I want to say just a hearty happy 90th birthday to my 3rd and 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Barrier.
Man,
I know she doesn't listen, or does she watch?
Yeah, no, that's cool that you that little in the secret text message group that you text everybody in today. Let us know about that. No, it's cool that you did that with the book.
Thanks, man.
You know, for somebody who influenced you, she's still alive, right? Dude, I don't even know who the fuck my 1st grade teacher is. The only teacher that I can remember that had a really big influence on me was Mrs. Holt from the 5th grade.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I think she passed. So like all my teachers that are like really influential, dude, I'm such an old dog. They ain't alive no more. So the fact that this bird's still kicking, you're able to go celebrate it, and you know, put the little 10 paragraph card in a book that you wrote. That's pretty fucking rad. So
yeah, Mrs. Barrier is the reason why I became such a goosebump nerd. I always liked to read, but that's right around the time of like Scholastic book fairs and Scholastic book orders and everything else, and I saw these books and I became enamored with them. And, every time one of those book orders came out, I'd order like a 4-pack box or individuals. And like, I had so fucking many of those books, dude. And like, she was just such a proponent for me to read because I love to read. She's like, "Oh, which one did you get? Oh, what's that one on the mountain?" I would do book reports over them and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I knew I wouldn't find a greeting card that put into words how she, how much she means to me. So I took a goosebump, number 5, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. And I opened up the inside flap and just kind of wrote a couple paragraphs about, what she means to me and some memories. And, stuck that in a card envelope and left that in the basket. So hopefully she found it. But, yeah, dude, she's 90 and my God, she is, just as sharp as a tack and knew everybody that walked in. And you wouldn't think she's 90 just talking to her, man. It was just wild. And the minute she saw me, her eyes lit up and mine did too. And it was a good day, man. It was a good day. So how are you?
I'm peachy. I'm good.
Good. I see you got the big dick dong hanging up back there on the wall.
I had to take it down the other day for a work conference call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I need to go ahead and put that back up. So
that's amazing.
Have
you ever done a work conference with that thing hanging up, or have you managed to pull it down every time?
I've done one where I forgot, but I always put the background on blur. And like halfway through the last one, I was like, oh shit, like the background's on blur. I know what it is. I don't think anybody else can tell because it's blurred, but then I'm just like, hold on, click, shut the camera off, move my dick, turn the camera back on. I'm like, what's up?
It's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm so happy you have it hanging up. Yeah, I'm sure our director and our regional director would love to see just a big wooden phallus hanging up on your wall.
What is that? It's wood. Is it a penis? Yeah. My son. Sorry about not getting to record last week. On the weekend, my son has is becoming a little golfer. He's a little Tiger Woods in the making, and he wanted to go golfing on Saturday since I had him because he's been getting to play in more tournaments for school. Fucking rained all day last Saturday, and it was cold. It was like 55 degrees outside, and this little motherfucker is like, you can golf in any weather, Dad. And we got to the golf course. I even went and picked up a used set of clubs, so I had my own clubs to go playing with them. Got a couple Bud Lights. I was out on the golf course. I was on the cart, and about 10 minutes in, I started to get a fever. And by the time we left, my feet were soaked, my feet hurt, my fever pains were kicking in. I was like probably hypothermia. I don't even know. I felt like I was dying. Got home, jumped in a super hot fucking bathtub. I, passed out a couple times, woke back up, and I said,
Jesus,
are we recording tonight? And you're like, no, we can do it later. I'm like, thank you. You're the best. That's the best Christmas gift somebody's gotten in April.
No, I was in the same boat a week previous, dude. That's why we've been gone for so long. Is got food poisoning on a Friday and just barfed out my insides. It's the fastest route to losing 8 pounds. I'll tell you that much. Lost 8 pounds in 6 hours. But then, went to work Saturday morning. Got home Saturday evening around 6, and I was like, I too am going to take a hot bath because I have body aches now. And got the shivers, got out of the bathtub, laid down in the bed, and my fever steadily climbed from 101 to 102 to 103 to 105. And it hit 106, and I texted my wife and basically said, hey, I'm going to come see you at work. And drove my happy ass to the ER at like 10 o'clock. And I had a fever, extreme fever, super dehydration. Had to get like two liters of fluids. And I don't know what it was, dude. They thought I was going septic, and it's funny, at one point, I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm in my room. I've got my IV going. The next thing you know, like 5 nurses just barrel in the door. They're like, hey, buddy, how you doing? And they're all kind of like just ignoring me, checking vitals. Apparently, one of the machines malfunctioned and said my heart rate was 230. And so they were concerned I was going to have a stroke. So luckily, it was just the machine. But yeah, man, I got better, and then you got super sick, so here we are. Oh, the woes of 40-year-old men.
A day late and 2 episodes short.
I noticed on Facebook, too, the description of tonight's episode is your D&D Saltmarsh game.
Oh, shit, it didn't update? Fuck it.
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
it's all good.
fucking Rumble's updated, though. So
fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Rumble. Well, let me check our audio levels here on YouTube since it's been 2 or 3 weeks.
YouTube probably doesn't.
Oh yeah,
YouTube probably doesn't have the right description either. But fuck, you know what?
You can change that later, right?
Yeah, so I can go back and fix that later.
Sweet.
Yeah,
we should be fine. So cool. Well, on tonight's episode, we're back with yet another news roundup. This time around, we're going to report stories featuring, but not limited to, robot marathon runners, people selling their kids for monkeys, and celebrity spousal woes, and so much more. So put down those tabloids and let us fill you in on the news that really matters. First up, bonus story I added right before we recorded. Let's drop a mental health, substance abuse, and necrophilia trigger warning. Police are searching for a sicko accused of sexually abusing a man's corpse on a Manhattan subway, according to police reports. The unidentified accused necrophiliac is sought by the NYPD for allegedly having sex with a dead man on an R train around 4:45 p.m. Tuesday night on April 8th. He then left the Whitehall Street subway station in Lower Manhattan shortly after midnight. The deceased man, who has not yet been identified, is believed to have died of natural causes on the train. Investigators do not believe the two knew each other, but the person of interest identified police is a heroin addict via information his brother told the police. His brother said his troubled sibling had been staying with him since his release from prison a few months prior. He had been locked up for quite a while. I haven't seen him in a few days, says his brother. He started staying out late. He has never done anything like this before in his life. Not what they said he did. I don't think he did that. He's not that type of person. They said he took his thing out and put it in this other guy's. Yeah, I don't think he did that. He's not a pervert. But the allegations against the suspect said that he left his family in shock and even mad. They're saying the police need to do a better job investigating because their brother isn't like that. No matter how bad the heroin addiction is, he's not like that. Police are also looking to speak to a woman who handed the deceased victim a cigarette of some kind before he reportedly died on the train before the sexual acts had occurred on his lifeless body. His last known address was Manor Avenue in Southview section of the Bronx. The dead man had boarded the subway around 8 p.m., and the suspect got on about 3 hours later, although it's not exactly clear where he boarded the train. Around 11:45 p.m., security footage showed the twisted suspect engaging in sexual acts with the deceased victim. He then got off the train around 12:08 p.m., sources say. Now, just before we started recording, I actually found an update. Neighbors and relatives of the suspect charged with raping a dead man on a Manhattan subway train station doesn't believe he could have committed such shocking crimes. Felix Rojas' sister professed his innocence a day after Rojas' son told police he recognized his own father as the man security footage showed being the suspect the NYPD was searching for. The son told cops he also doesn't believe Rojas, 44 years old, is guilty of the necrophilia charges, even though authorities say the man is connected in a rape and depraved violation of a body back on April 9th on the R train. The shocking sex act came to light after an MTA train conductor found the dead man, known as Jorge Gonzalez, face down on a floor of an idling R train at Whitehall Street subway station in Lower Manhattan, right around midnight 30 a.m. Authorities said the body was orally and anally violated, and then a short time later, the corpse was robbed a second time by a woman before the MTA worker discovered the body. A surveillance photo of the suspect was released by NYPD, but she has not yet been caught. Although the initial autopsy was inconclusive as to the death of Gonzalez, his estranged wife told the news she believes it would be related to cirrhosis of the liver after years of prolonged alcoholism. Man, that's tough. Well, in other more lighthearted news,
I mean, I can't even comment on that one. Like, there's nothing good to get in there, you know?
Nah, dude, it's fucking wild. Sometimes I go to the news of the weird subreddit, you know, if I'm really having a dry spell for news. And this one popped up, and boy howdy, I had to hit the interwebs to figure that shit out. Fuck me.
Way to Scooby-Doo that. Man, putting your detective hat on. Fuck.
Yeah. Let's jump in the old pixelated puddle jumper to Hong Kong. If the idea of robots taking on humans in a road race conjures dystopian images of android athletic supremacy, then fear not. Not for now, at least. More than 20 two-leg bipedal robots competed in the world's first humanoid half marathon in China back in April. Though technology as impressive as it is, the robots were far from outrunning their human masters over such a long distance. Teams from several companies and the universities took part in the race, a showcase of China's advances on humanoid technology as it plays catch-up with the U.S., which still boasts to be putting out far more sophisticated models. Anyway, the chief of the winning team said their robot, though bested by humans in this particular race, was a strong match for similar models from the West, at a time when the race to perfection for humanoid robot technology is heating up. Coming in a variety of shapes and sizes, the robots jogged through Beijing's southeastern Yizhong district, home to many of the capital's tech firms. Over the last few months, video of China's humanoid robots performing bike rides, roundhouse kicks, and side flips have blown up on the internet, often amplified by the state media as a key potential driver for economic growth. Well, back in 2023, policy documents from China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology identified human robots as an industry for a new frontier in technological competition. setting a 2025 target for mass production and secure supply chain core components. But fears have still mounted in recent years about how artificial intelligence and robots may one day outsmart humans. And while AI models are growing fast, sparking concern for everything from security to the future of work, Saturday's race suggested that humans still at least have the upper hand when it comes to running. So, fear not, folks. We can still run.
No, because when you get done with this,
Black Mirror?
When you get done with this, I'm going to segue into mine and re-segue into yours, and I'm going to tie this all together tonight. Because fuck this story.
Like a delicious
fuck it.
cake.
Yeah.
The robots were pitted against 12,000 human contestants, running side by side with them during the race, except they were separated by a fence for safety purposes, which kept the robots running in their own separate lane. After setting off from a country park, participating robots had to overcome slight slope increases and a winding 21-kilometer circuit before they could reach the finish line, according to state-run outlet Beijing Daily. And of course, a marathon in this instance, I think, is a half marathon at 13.1 miles. Just as human runners needed to replenish themselves for water, robot contestants were allowed to get new batteries during the race. Companies were also allowed to swap their androids with substitutes when they could no longer compete, although substitutions would come with a 10-minute penalty. The first robot to finish, Tiangong Ultra, created by Beijing Humanoid Robot Innovation Center, finished the route in 2 hours and 40 minutes. And for being a robot, the finish time was still 2 hours short of the human world record of only 56 minutes and 42 seconds held by Ugandan runner Jacob Kiplimo. I guess that's just not quite 2 hours difference. But still, the human winner of the men's race on Saturday finished 1 hour and 2 minutes. Alan Fern, professor of the computer science, AI, and robotics at Oregon State University, told CNN that he was actually very impressed by the robots, that they were able to manage a time limit, saying that they would have bet none of them actually could have finished the race. Fern added that there were still many companies in China and the US and Europe that are developing their own humanoid robots, but say there's really no clear leader in the industry at this point. So, the US may not be quite as far ahead as they thought they were. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see. They're just excited that there's so many opportunities and options at this point in time. Tang Jian, Chief Technology Officer for the Robot Innovation Center, said Tiangong Ultra's performance was aided by its long legs and algorithm allowing it to imitate exactly how humans run during marathons. I don't want to boast, but I think no other robotics firms in the West have matched Tiangong's sporting achievements, saying that the robot switched batteries only 3 times during the entirety of the race. The 1.8 meter tall robot came across a few challenges during the race, which involved multiple battery changes. It also needed a helper to run alongside it with its hands hovering around its back just in case it was going to fall. See, I think that's cheating in a way. Like, if your robot trips and falls 100 feet into the race,
yeah, you got a fucking dummy robot. Build a better robot, fucking nerd. Fucking
Build a better robot, nerd.
Put it on a fucking leash. What is this?
Yeah, well, that's what's funny. Most of the robots required some kind of support, with a few even being tied to leashes and some being led by remote control. Amateur human contestants running in the other lane had no difficulty keeping up, with the curious among them taking out their phones to take pictures and capture the robotic encounters along the race. Awards were also given out to robot competitors for best endurance, best gait design, and most innovative form. Holy crap, buddy. They got us racing against robots.
Look, there's that new movie coming out. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe Girlfriend or fucking something Lover. I don't know. Anyway. Companion?
Yep. Watched it the other night. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, you know what I'm fucking talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Look, okay. Time and time again. If anything Hollywood has done for us is it has shown us what the future is going to look like if we keep going down these paths. Terminator. Mm-hmm. What happens when we keep pushing for more smart AI? Fucking end of the world. Okay, Companions. They've made a fuck robot. Okay, I haven't seen the movie, but just based off the 2-minute trailer that I saw, that fuck robot was not happy about being a fuck robot. Like, and now, what are you doing? You're making robots that can fucking walk. That's one step away from fucking. If they can walk, they can fuck. All right? So, unless you're gonna, what was that, iRobot? We turned them into fucking slaves. It's like, so, I mean, I'm just saying, like, as humanity, we're flawed. So, like, we ain't building them to, do, like, make some special achievement. We're building them to either do labor or to fuck them. That's it. At the end of the day, that's the only two things that are going to happen. And the Matrix and the Terminator is going to show us the outcome of what that's going to be. So, I don't know. China, Beijing, fucking United States, fuck off and making robots. Go do something fucking else. Find Bigfoot, find Jesus, find the Loch Ness Monster, find something, but quit trying to make fuck robots.
Yeah.
Now, Jurassic Park, okay, leads me into my next story. This is the segue by the segue, okay? Jurassic Park. We all know what fucking happened in Jurassic Park. Do we not? How many Jurassic Park movies do we have? 7. We have 7 Jurassic Park movies, and does any one of them technically have a happy ending? I ask you.
No, but I can also interject here and say they also have no robot dinosaurs getting fucked. I guess those are all biological, but still, nobody got poked.
Okay.
That we know.
Well, let me find the name of this.
You're fine. Now in my head, while you're looking for that, I picture the female gremlin. What was her name? Gosh, I can't think of her name.
Yeah. That could be a fuckbot.
It makes you wonder, like, she was a little curvaceous. So did one of those scientists,
So, Colosso Biosciences clearly did not put a lot of fucking thought into what they did. Romulus and Remus are doing what puppies do. Chasing, tussling, nipping, nuzzling. You have a puppy. They're doing all the things that puppy's doing. But there's something very ungertie-like about the snowy white 6-month-old, their size, for starters. At their young age, they already measure nearly 4 feet long, tip the scales at 80 pounds, and can grow up to 6 feet. Not tall, like the top of their head is like fucking up here, and they weigh about 150 pounds. Ugh. Then there's the behavior.
Jon Snow.
Yeah. The angelic exuberance puppies exhibit in the presence of humans trotting for hugs.
Knock off your mic just a skosh for
There you go.
I mean, not that far, but...
Belly rubs, hugs, kisses. These puppies are like, fuck y'all. Stay the fuck away from us. Why?
And we're talking about puppies, right? Like actual puppies.
Yeah, like big fucking puppies. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, other puppies, like your puppy is all like, tension, kiss. These puppies are like, no, fuck you. Okay? And that's
domination.
Yeah, that's because this isn't domestic canine behavior. This is wild lupin behavior. They're dire wolves, which means they have a cause to be lonely because they're fucking extinct, and this company brought them the fuck back. And no, they just didn't bring 2 back from being extinct for over 10,000 years. They brought 3 of these fuckers back.
Jesus.
Relying on deft genetic engineering and ancient preserved DNA, colossal scientists deciphered the dire wolf genome, rewrote the genetic code of the common gray wolf to match it, and using domestic dogs. It's not even fucking wolves. They just went and fucking found some random stray off the street and said, boom, impregnated. You got a hybrid puppy in you. And brought to life Romulus, Remus, and their sister 2-month-old Khaleesi into the world during 3 separate births last fall and this winter, effectively for the first time de-extincting a line of beasts whose live gene pool long ago vanished. The direwolf isn't the only animal that Colossal, which was founded in 2021 and currently has 130 scientists, wants to bring back. No. On their de-extinction wish list is the woolly mammoth, the dodo, the thylacine, and already in March, the company surprised the scientific community with the news that they had copied mammoth DNA to create a woolly mouse, a chimeric critter with long golden coat and accelerated fat metabolism of the mammoth. The fuck, dude. Science. And also...
Yeah.
Here's the big argument. Because they rewrote the gray wolf genome, okay? Technically, did they bring back the dire wolf? Because most biologists that study wolves, right? The fucking wolf nerds out there would say that the American gray wolf actually has nothing in common with the ancient dire wolf. That the ancient dire wolf has more in common with the African jackal. And so why didn't you rewrite the African jackal DNA code to bring something back more in line, right? So you basically just made a fucking moody teenage 6 foot tall 190 pound killing machine. Where the fuck you gonna put it? You got 3 of them now. And now you want to do the woolly mammoth?
Going back to Jurassic Park, what's the quote? Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah.
We didn't bring back a dire wolf. It's just like trying to bring back the woolly mammoth, right? Like, we're not scientists, but something along the lines of like injecting this preserved mammoth DNA into elephants. And you're going to make some kind of like cousin to the mammoth. But I don't know that you can really... What's the opposite of diluting pure blood, pure breeds? Like, you take 2 animals and
you're making a mutt.
Breed them, and they're 50-50, right? They're mutts. They're not designer breeds, but whatever. I digress. We can't do that backwards and take like a half mammoth and a half elephant. You can't breed those back up to get like a perfect woolly mammoth, right? Like,
it's not.
I don't know how it's going to work.
That's not how it was. So what? Well, you would actually get something in the case of a mammoth. You would probably get something closer than what they did with this dire wolf, because the mammoth and the African gray elephant have more common DNA markers than the fucking gray wolf and the dire wolf do. And so if you genetically alter those markers to not be dormant and turn them back on, it's not going to be a purebred woolly mammoth, but it's going to be close enough, But here's the thing: every woolly mammoth that we've found in the permafrost, right, that's been perfectly preserved, they cut open its belly and they're like, "What the fuck did you eat?" And they find all this lush green and like plants and all this stuff. So for the longest time, we all thought like they had long hair because they lived out in the fucking tundra and it was cold, and they're like, and that's where they're originally like, we can bring them back and we can put them in Siberia. The fuck you can't. They were like, they're Kansas elephants. They like Kansas weather. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot and cold in the same day. They have a mixed climate and they have to have all this vegetation. So you breed these fuckers, you bring them back into existence, you dump them in the fucking Russian Siberia tundra of hell. They're gonna die. Where the fuck are we gonna put these things?
Well, and I wonder too, like, we can't breed them into a pure specimen, but could you clone them like Dolly the sheep? I mean, because Dolly wasn't. She was a straight clone from like a mammary gland or something. I don't remember the specifics, but I think that's the talk too, is we could take the DNA and maybe we could clone a living version of a preserved permafrost mammoth. But again, I don't know. That's fucking beyond me. But here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that Dolly the sheep actually was euthanized?
No. Why? She go batshit crazy?
She lived... Zombie sheep. No, she unfortunately, Dolly ended up getting like a really bad case of like lung disease and really bad arthritis. So they euthanized her at the age of 6.5 years old, and I think they preserved her body and put it in a museum in Scotland. But we've cloned other things like mice and deer and I think pigs as well. So I don't know. I think that we're probably closer to doing like this direwolf deal for mammoths than we are to like actually just bringing back a mammoth from nothing. But I think all this to say the female gremlin's name is Greta.
Yeah,
everybody's still keeping track.
I mean, so I guess what's to me like the scary side of this is that, okay, so they made a woolly mouse, right? So they figured out what code of DNA caused the woolly hair. and they were able to turn that on, and they were able to alter DNA. So as we allow this to keep happening, which I'm not saying we shouldn't, but let's go down the rabbit hole for a second, shall we? We allow this to keep happening. Where does it stop? Because if we can perfect this and we're able to figure out which genes we can turn, like, because a mouse and a woolly mammoth are like, they ain't even kissing cousins. They ain't even they're like different planets, right? But somehow they were able to isolate the genetic code that made long hair, turn it on, and make a baby mouse have that, like that code was accepted, and that baby mouse is now a woolly mouse. So where does it stop? What was that movie that was a Gattaca?
Slice?
No, it had Ethan Hawke in it, and it came out in the 90s, and it was where like they were like you got married and you had to like go get your genetic code read, and everybody had to have designer babies, and they were trying to perfect the human race. Dude, we might be getting to that point, like, because if we can turn certain genes off and on, like, who's to say that we can't start hybridizing humanity, making humanity like, fuck, I don't like people with curly hair. Like, we can just shut that gene off. Like, fuck those curly hair people.
I mean, there's already designer baby talk, about being able to choose certain things for your kids.
Red hair, fucking gross, dude. Shut it off. Don't let the red hairs ever again.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Damn. But look at it a different way, man, because it is National Paranormal Day. What stops them from making a woolly Preston or a woolly Sean? Like, we always talk about Bigfoot being like, again, not a chimera, but like an actual, like, missing link, an actual, flesh and blood creature.
Yeah.
What's going to stop us from making a Sasquatch down the road where we just take a man and we just turn on the woolly gene, and we make our own Bigfoot? It's like, fuck it, we can't find them, let's just make our own.
We can bring back the Neanderthal, fuck it.
Yeah,
we get enough DNA.
But, I mean, why would you do that when you already have man evolved so much farther into using tools and making running robots and shit? But it makes me think, as a tangent here, my little alien behind me, Elias, there, like, there is that old theory that alien greys are nothing more than humans who have kind of evolved themselves to a point of devolution, and like, we are in outer space. We don't have to have any muscle mass because there's no gravity. So like, we're these tiny little frail beings, and we've, engineered our heads to be really big because we have bigger brains now. And like, what's going to stop us from just making all these cryptids on our own accord, man?
We can fucking do it.
Like, cryptids, we're making cryptids now. Technically, your dire wolf
is a
cryptid in a way.
Yeah.
Like a bioengineered cryptid. So I don't know. It's interesting, and it's also terrifying in the same vein, but I don't know. It all makes me wonder this question here, Preston. Would you like to buy a monkey?
I mean,
a Missouri foster mother.
What type of monkey is it?
Well,
is it an Ace Ventura monkey, or is it like Bubbles the chimpanzee? Because I would buy a Bubbles the chimpanzee, but I would not buy a fucking Ace Ventura monkey.
Yeah, very true. What's BJ's monkey's name on Righteous Gemstones?
Oh fuck, I can't remember now.
Mr. something or other.
Yeah,
a little monkey like that, a capuchin or whatever, man.
Or an orangutan.
Well, anyway,
like
I don't know. God no.
Clint Eastwood's
kill you.
No. Clint Eastwood's everything, every which way but loose.
Left Turn Clyde.
Yeah, they had the Clyde, the orangutan. Fucking dude, that's my drinking cigar buddy right there. Like, dude, orangutans are fucking dope.
Son for that.
Yeah, but why have a son when I gotta have an orangutan? Well, if the orangutan ain't gonna talk back,
have sex with an orangutan, ain't gonna hybrid baby,
and ain't gonna get mouthy with me.
Did you ever read the story of the Humanzi?
No.
The Humanzi was this story.
Was that fucking Russian thing where they were doing experiments and they were trying to make like a fucking monkey army, and like the Russians were
Robert White, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, the Humanzi was this story about a human chimpanzee hybrid, which was like smarter than the average chimp. It could use a toilet, it could smoke cigarettes and all this crazy shit. We'll cover it sometime, dude. We should do an episode on like what do you call that? Hoaxes, because the
Yeah.
Humanzi was a terrifying story. But anyhoozle, let's get back to the brass tacks here. A Missouri foster mother has been charged with child abuse and endangerment as authorities investigate whether or not she traded her adopted teenage daughter to somebody in Texas in exchange for a monkey and mistreated several other children in her care. The 70-year-old woman is from the 1,500-person town of Winfield, Missouri, which is about 45 miles northwest of downtown St. Louis. She's been jailed on a $250,000 bond since her arrest over the weekend, with her follow-up court appearance set for next Tuesday on April 29th. Mind you guys, this story is from last month. The Associated Press is not identifying her in an effort to not identify the child in the story. No attorney is listed for the woman in online court documents either, but Lincoln County prosecutor Mike Woods said that back on Wednesday, the woman had been a foster or adoptive parent for upwards of 200 different children over the span of over a decade. His office wrote in seeking a cash-only bond that authorities had received information that some of these children even suffered physical and emotional abuse similar to the teen at the heart of this story. Anyway, the teen that was traded for the monkey allegedly said that she was also beaten with pieces of wooden trim, shoes, and a paddle. The girl said she tried to tell people what was happening when she was still in the other woman's care, but no one believed her. Well, back in February, a deputy who was working as a school resource officer in Missouri said he was contacted about the girl missing classes, which was recorded in a probable cause statement. While investigating, the deputy was told a rumor. The girl had actually been traded for an exotic animal to somebody living in Texas. The deputy asked authorities in Texas to check on the girl. Child welfare officials in Texas took her into protective custody, and Woods said that she's doing well now in a group home. Woods said the suspect, her foster mom, and the woman who the girl was staying with in Texas, i.e. the person who traded for the monkey, had known each other because they had both owned various exotic animals. As part of the evidence of the case, the deputy said 2 witnesses came forward and said they were actually the ones who were asked to take the girl to Texas and then return with a monkey. So they were kind of like the traffickers in a way, or the people at least, you know what I'm saying here? Anyway, he told investigators they were trying to firm up if that was just a joke or if there's actually a trade for a human for a monkey. But Woods said there's some smoke here. We just got to find out if there's a fire. It'll take us some time. But there's at least 2 witnesses who are coming forward saying that this indeed was the case. They literally took her to Texas in exchange for a monkey. As crazy as it sounds, though, we've had a few human trafficking cases in the past, and we're treading this very seriously. According to the probable cause statement, the girl said the woman she was staying with in Texas worked out of town and had left her for days at a time to take care of the exotic animals. The girl said she was not subjected or forced to labor or sexual abuse in the woman's care. The woman told a detective that she was friends with the girl's adoptive mother and took her to give the pair a break from each other. The girl stayed there for over a month. When authorities interviewed the woman, she said she no longer wanted the girl there, but the girl's mother wouldn't make arrangements to bring her home. So, charging documents described the girl's living conditions there as unsanitary and said they were inadequately supervised.
Yeah.
Woods said in an interview later that his office has learned that there were somewhere around 250 calls to a child abuse hotline about the adoptive mother's home over the course of 15 years. Yet, Woods said strangely there were no criminal reports about the adopted mother's home.
What happened to the monkey? Did they
I know, right?
Did they save the monkey?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. Holy shit. Good question. We'll have to do a follow-up on this.
Yeah.
But for now, here's an update on a story we talked about a few weeks ago. Presto, do you remember the story about the wife of Ghost Adventures host Aaron Goodwin?
Yeah.
Supposedly calling a hitman? Well, Aaron Goodwin's estranged wife has pleaded guilty to soliciting a hitman to kill the paranormal TV star, according to official reports. Victoria Goodwin, 32 years old, filed the plea agreement with the Clark County District Court back on Monday, agreeing to plead guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit murder, an offense that will put her behind bars for 2 to 10 years. The wife of the self-styled ghost hunter was arrested last month for messaging an inmate at a Florida prison back in 2024 to organize a murder-for-hire scheme targeting her husband. Oof. Well, hold on tight, buddy, because we're not out of the celebrity spousal-related news yet. Weezer, say it ain't so. Our next story comes from Rolling Stone. Jillian Lauren, the best-selling author and wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner, recently made her first court appearance Wednesday on April 30th in the strange case of an officer-involved LAPD shooting that left her wounded outside her Los Angeles home back in April. Lauren, 51 years old, was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder for allegedly firing her gun in the direction of officers first, but the LA County District Attorney has not filed any charges by the time of her morning appearance, so a judge ordered Lauren to return on May 13th. Now, Lauren declined to comment as she left the Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Courthouse in downtown LA with her lawyer. The matter remains under investigation, and we are working with all the law enforcement agencies on the case, which has not been formally presented to a district attorney's office for filing consideration. Now, hold on, we're almost out of the word salad here. Ms. Schreiner remains out of custody on bond. A formal case presentation is anticipated within the next week. Our office will make a filing decision shortly thereafter. So anyway, here's the good stuff. According to the LAPD, Lauren had racked her gun and fired it during a standoff with police officers who were in a neighboring yard conducting a search for a set of hit-and-run suspects who had fled the scene of a nearby traffic collision around 3:55 back on April 8th. Body-worn camera footage and home surveillance video released by the LAPD last week shows the chaotic scene that led up to an exchange of gunfire. In the nearly 22-minute compilation of videos, multiple police officers are heard repeatedly yelling at a woman, identified by the LAPD as Lauren, telling her to drop her gun. The officers were standing behind a fence, so the woman says she didn't have visible blah, blah, blah. The woman was not visible at the height of the chest level video. Okay, good. So they couldn't quite see her. She couldn't see them. Toward the end of the exchange, one officer identifies himself as police, while another shouts that he is with the California Highway Patrol. It's not clear if any portion of the officer's uniform was visible to the woman over the fence, but a separate video from Lauren's home surveillance system gave a different perspective. It shows her walking out of her house and holding a black handgun, walking around the perimeter, looking high and low. The video appears to then show her manipulating and firing the firearm, but it's recorded from a distance and has no sound. After what appears to be a slight recoil, Lauren then walks away, looking relatively calm. According to the police body-worn footage, as soon as an officer warns, "Okay, she's racked it," police open fire, unloading more than half a dozen ear-splitting shots. But in Lauren's home surveillance video, she doesn't appear to react to any of the shots or exhibit any injury seconds after she allegedly fired her own gun. About an hour after shooting, though, Lauren can be seen exiting her home and was arrested without incident. She was taken to a hospital for treatment of a gunshot wound in her arm, and then she was later booked in absentia on suspicion of attempted murder and released on a $1 million bail. LAPD presentation of the case posted on YouTube also included multiple 911 calls related to the incident. One call was from somebody inside Lauren's home after the shooting. The individual tells the operator that Lauren was shot by one of the suspects of a traffic collision manhunt. Lauren is heard talking in the background explaining what happened. "I had my gun, and he said, 'Put down the gun, put down the gun,' and I said, 'Put down your fucking gun.' And then he shot me. There are 3 men out there on the other side of the fence." According to LAPD, investigators recovered a 9mm handgun and spent shell casings from Lauren's residence. They said the LAPD responses to the LA Eagles Rock neighborhood at the request of California Highway Patrol. Wowzers. Let me start that one over. They said the LAPD responded to the call in LA Eagle Rocks neighborhood at the request of the California Highway Patrol. Officials said the officers entered the residential property after a resident reported one of the suspects jumping from one yard to another. While in the rear of the yard of one residence, the officers saw a woman in an adjacent nearby yard armed with a handgun. He referred to Lauren by her name, Schreiner, though she goes by professional name of Lauren. Officers gave Schreiner repeated verbal commands to drop the handgun. However, she did not comply. Moments later, she racked the handgun, pointed at the officers, and fired, resulting in an officer-involved shooting. Now, she hasn't commented publicly on any incident, and she released her first memoir, Some Girls, My Life in a Harem, back in 2010, and her second, Everything You Ever Wanted, in May 15th. Both books are New York Times bestsellers. Anyway, meanwhile, Weezer still performed at Coachella weekend one as planned, despite the incident.
I've seen them live, so not bad.
Not bad? Okay, fair. I've heard a mixed bag. They're either really, really fun or just kind of standing there like Willie Nelson when I saw him back in 2006 or whatever that was. So
yeah.
Fucking wild, man. So it sounds like her story is that she thought that these three officers were the three people running from the collision on the nearby highway, but I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Oi.
Oy vey.
Oy vey indeed. But yeah, that's all I got, buddy. You got anything else?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm all doom and
I
gloom.
think
I'm all doom and gloom on this one, you know.
You're all right,
fucking
pal.
life,
You're all right.
world coming to an end. Fucking genetic mutations, making fuck robots.
Yep. You're either going to be ran down in the streets by marathon running fuck robots or trampled by dire wolves and woolly mammoths.
Y'all fucking nerds need to find Bigfoot and find him quick. That's all I'm saying.
We're not going to find Bigfoot. We're going to make Bigfoot. That's what's going to happen, buddy. Woolly Preston.
I'll take it. Hey, you know what? If he drinks beer and smokes cigars, I got my buddy. We're all good.
You're orangutan.
Come here, you little hairy fugger. Come on. Come on, do it. Drink a beer with me.
Good shit. Good shit. Well, if you're on the social medias, please give us a follow over on Instagram. On Instagram, we are at... Oh, man, my Instagram's acting really funky. Hold on a second. PXL Paranormal on Instagram. On Facebook, we are the Pixelated Paranormal Podcast. You can email us at pixelatedparanormal@gmail.com. And you can actually even send us a Google voice message if you would like. You can send that message over to 913-662-3144. And if you hurry, I think we got a listener episode coming up, episode after next for our 10-year anniversary. So if you got a story you want to share, you can PM us, you can email us, you can even leave us that voicemail. So hit us up. I'm looking for a couple more stories. We got some good shit so far, so add to it. Preston, what do you got, Pumpkin?
Need a beard? Want a beard? Want to grow the best damn beard possible? Is your genetic woolly beard all defunct and flat and not looking good? Is your fuckbot not responding to you? Well, you know what your problem is? You ain't got Dobbs. So you need to go over to BigDobbsBeardBomb.com and use promo code PXLPARA for 20% off your order. You can pick yourself up scents like Bay Rum, Fresh, Citrus, Mint, Classic, Sweet Tobacco. Oh, there's a new scent out, but I don't remember the name. Zen. Yeah.
Lemon mint.
Put that stuff in your beard. That fucking defunct woolly beard is going to perk right back up and look all natural, baby. Fuckbot's going to go, what is that? Yeah, that's how you get on only beards. I'm telling you. Get it all. Get it at Dobbs.
Fuckbot's going to say, ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Good stuff, man. If you're in the Wichita area, stop by, see our friends over at paranormal.cafe, and then jog on over to the CD Trade Post at Pawnee and Seneca and say hi to our dear friend Leslie and the rest of the gang. Good shit, man. Next episode, I got a lot of atomic-themed cryptids coming your way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Yes, sir. I'm going to raise this bottle of water and say cheers to the weird shit in the world and those of us who love to talk about it.
I ain't got any more quitting time, so stay spooky and stay on the paranormal highway.
The cast at Pixelated Paranormal would like to thank you for listening to this week's episode. Pixelated Paranormal is here to tell you tales of the fantastical, the strange, the unknown. Tales that will move you a little further down the paranormal highway. If you'd like to share your own listener story, we would love to hear it. Email us at pixelatedparanormal@gmail.com. Again, that's pixelatedparanormal@gmail.com. We'd really love to hear from you. Again, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Pixelated Paranormal, your guide to the unusual and the strange.